Welcome to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Chapter 111. Lu Gan. Uncle Go, help me give this parchment scroll to my uncle and tell him that I miss him. It's not Chen Zan. You are a little surprised, it seems that your guess is wrong. Who is it that attacked you when you were still a baby? You have seen Uncle Yang Hong. He doesn't wear a bloody ring on his hand. Then, you asked the big yellow dog if he knew anyone wearing a blood ring, but the big yellow dog thought about it and just shook his head. It obviously has no such impression. Obviously, the clue is broken. Quote. How so? You frowned slightly, feeling a little irritated inexplicably, and you always felt as if you had overlooked something. Young master, follow me and leave the capital, and return to the Xiwandishan mountains. The master said that he can ensure your safety for the rest of your life. It's better than staying here. The big yellow dog spoke, and it was obvious that this was the real purpose of his coming. Right now, you only have 10 years left to live. If you stay in the treacherous imperial capital and face all kinds of conspiracies and intrigues, I'm afraid you won't live long. But if I could return to the Xiwandishan mountains, I would still have a way to survive and live a peaceful life. Before, your condition was special and you couldn't move easily, so it didn't take you away. Now that you've woken up and your body is much better, it's okay. Besides, the master has already negotiated with that person. However, considering the young master's previous temper, I'm afraid he may not follow it. Young master, this is the mission the master has given me. I must take you back no matter what. In your current condition, I'm afraid you can't use the emperor bone, and you may not be a match for me. The big yellow dog looks at you seriously, with white hair at the corners of its mouth and an intimidating expression, looking like an elder. Looking at the big yellow dog's expression, you know that it is most likely the same plot simulated by the villain last time. Yang Hong is going to use your Supreme Emperor Bone and cultivation as bargaining chips in exchange for a long and peaceful death. But how can you be willing to be deprived of everything like this? More importantly, you don't want to leave the imperial capital easily now, and you still want to investigate some things. Moreover, the 10,000 mountains have always been under close surveillance by the old emperor. If you make any small move, you will be discovered in an instant. But now, the big yellow dog is obviously planning to force it. In its heart, Uncle Yang Hong is the first and you can only be second. Right now, you don't have much life left, so it's hard for you to easily activate the 9 steps to heaven, and you don't want to fight it. But in this case, how can you make it change its mind? You brazenly chose to self-destruct. Uncle Go, to be honest, I'm telling you the truth. I was reborn and I've already met my uncle last time. I won't go with you. Question mark. There is neither the shock nor the silence you imagined, but you see the great sage of Yellow Wind, raising his eyebrows and looking at you with a fooling around expression. But for some reason, there seemed to be a force appearing in its dog brain, which began to deceive it, making it subconsciously believe and accept this fact. Seeing that Guzi was still a little hesitant, you remained silent, just practicing the Green Emperor's Longevity Sutra, emitting a hint of longevity. The big yellow dog was shocked instantly. This is the Qingdi Chengsheng Sutra that the master got that year. Oh no, it's broad daylight and the dog is seeing ghosts. My eldest nephew is actually a reborn person. Your uncle's wide-open eyes mean that he has believed what you said. You simply told him everything about the last simulation, and the dog was stunned. Of course, when it comes to the topic of rebirth, you said that once you die, your soul will be reborn on its own, but you didn't mention the villain simulator at all. This is your biggest trump card. Wow, you actually have this ability. The big yellow dog was stunned again. It was actually possible to play like this. You smiled slightly, took out a note that your uncle Yang Hong had given you during the last simulation, and handed it to the big yellow dog. There was an address written on the note. Imperial Capital Secret Realm Dragon Temple. But since you came to the Imperial Capital, you have no clues or leads. You can only look for Zan Fuzzy first. Perhaps, the big yellow dog in front of you can give you some reminders. I'm sorry, little master. The master is a very deep person. There are some things he won't tell anyone. Even I, the old servant, don't know his true thoughts. The big yellow dog looked at the note in his hand for a long time, but couldn't make out its meaning and shook his head. It can naturally recognize that the handwriting on it is its owner's, but the meaning recorded on it is always too vague. You felt a little disappointed when you didn't get any hint, but then Uncle Go's words gave you new inspiration. However, perhaps you can go to the Yang mansion to have a look. That is the master's home in the imperial capital. When the master became the Great Xia war god, and was conferred the title, the old emperor bestowed a mansion on the master. The master has lived there for decades. But after the battle that year, the master was exiled to the Shou mountains, and the Yang mansion was also sealed off and heavily guarded by the old emperor. Ordinary people cannot easily enter. By the way, when the master left the imperial capital, he specially built a cemetery for that person in the Yang mansion. That person, Uncle Go mentioned is your father, the deposed Crown Prince Chenzan of Daxia. Yang mansion, heavily guarded, cenotaph. A hunch suddenly flashes through your mind, that seems to be the place you want to find. Looking at the way Uncle Yang Hong gnashed his teeth at old Deng Chenzan, I'm afraid he must be desperate to grind his bones to dust, or even build a tomb for him. There must be something strange about this. Besides, why would the old emperor send a large number of soldiers to guard the deserted Yang mansion? Is it necessary? I think the location of the note that your Uncle Yang Hong gave you is the Yang mansion. Looks like I have to go to Yang's house. My young master, would you like me to accompany you? The big yellow dog volunteered to go with you. No, Uncle Dog, I can go alone. You have more important things to do. You shook your head and rejected it. Then, you took out something from the space ring and placed it in front of the big yellow dog. Question mark. It was a parchment scroll. Uncle Go, do me a favor and give this thing to my uncle. Tell him that I miss him in the capital. You said meaningfully. Chapter 112, Liu Gan, I will not enjoy this glory alone. You will all be heroes of the empire. The big yellow dog left without a trace of nostalgia. It also took away the parchment scroll you gave it, which recorded the 9 steps to heaven, and prepared to go get help for you. You have a premonition that something big will happen in the imperial capital next, and it will be difficult for you to bear the brunt of it. Question mark. Therefore, you urgently need reinforcements. A reinforcement at the level of true land immortal. My uncle Yang Hong's true cultivation level should be at the 9th level of heavenly being, and he is only 1 step away from becoming a true immortal on earth, but he has never been able to make the leap. In this case, you can send him the 9 steps to heaven, to help him. As long as he takes the 9th step, he can achieve the body of a true immortal. Currently, only Yang Hong, who has reached the 9th level of heaven and has also practiced the Green Emperor's Longevity Sutra, and has an extremely long lifespan, can maximize the true effectiveness of the 9 steps to heaven. Adding to that, Yang Hong is very likely to have a complete set of Supreme Emperor bones, hidden away, so he can definitely have a head-on confrontation with the old emperor. I think it is enough to give the other party a big surprise. Lao Lao Deng, you won the last game, but this time it's my turn to play chess. This time, I'm going to put all my cards on the table to see how good you are. There is a flame of ambition burning in your eyes, and it is obvious that you have plans for everything that is to come. Given Uncle Yang Hong's personality, once he gets the 9 steps to heaven, and knows that you can be reborn and start a new game, he will definitely not continue to endure, but will go all in and bet. Right now, I just hope Uncle Go can return as soon as possible and bring the things back. The practice of 9 steps to heaven also takes time. You don't know your Uncle Yang Hong's talent, but I think that since he can become the god of war of Daxia with the body of a commoner, he must be good. Before, you also thought about sending 9 steps to heaven to Shou Mountains, and Liu Ruyue is the best candidate. Before, all the signs given by Liu Ruyue showed that she was trustworthy. But you don't trust those people behind her. Once they interfere, the 9 steps to heaven will fall into the hands of others, and the situation will be ruined in an instant. In comparison, you obviously trust the yellow-winged great sage, who appeared at 2 critical moments and saved your life. It's funny to say that you, the grandson of the Great Xia, have a backup plan left by the deposed crown prince, but you don't have anyone you can really trust. At the critical moment, you can only trust a big yellow dog. It's time to go out and meet my team. You slowly stood up. Before heading to Yang's residence, you had to meet the heroes who had protected the emperor this time. When you walk out of the backyard, you will see Liu Ruyue, Bai Long, Tong Qing, Lu Shou, Lu Zhang, Qi Wei and others in the hall. Among them, there is also a powerful celestial being from the Shou family. These people were the ones who chose to stand by you regardless of everything when you fell into a coma a month ago. In addition to these people, there are figures in the courtyard outside the hall. They are the Wu family and merchants who have been playing fence-sitters before, as well as some unfamiliar celestial beings. Interestingly, since you survived the attack of the old man emperor a month ago and managed to keep your life, coupled with the appearance of Zan Fuzi and Huang Feng Dasheng, as well as the old man emperor's tolerant attitude towards you, many people have developed an illusion. It seems that the old emperor has only been training you, and has no intention of killing you. You are still the promising crown prince, and have not fallen out of favor. So, more fence-sitters appear, wanting to cling to your thighs. Your Highness, seeing you appear, Liu Ruyue, Bai Long, Lu Shou and others in the hall are excited. They have chosen to be tied to you. If anything happens to you, they are afraid that they will be liquidated. We pay our respects to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and are willing to serve you with all our strength. The group of fence-sitters in the yard were fawning and knelt on the ground, showing the demeanor of lackeys. Your face is slightly pale, and you look at the people in the yard calmly. You know what is going on in your heart, and you are not deceived by their faces. If it weren't for the great sage of Yellow Wind, who stayed by your side during this period and cured you, if you really couldn't wake up, these people would most likely turn against you and try to rob you of everything. Supreme Emperor Bone, soul-devouring demonic sword, space ring. These are a group of wolves, tigers and leopards that are difficult to tame. But sometimes, jackals, tigers, leopards, fence-sitters, also have their role to play at critical moments. Even if it's just waving the flag and shouting. Let's not talk about the past for now. I just want to tell you one thing. If one day, I can sit in that position. Your voice carries a special and strange magic, which rings in the ears of everyone in the Liu family. Then, you paused intentionally. I will not enjoy this glory alone. You will all be heroes of the empire. Boom. Everyone knelt on the ground in an instant, shouting, swear allegiance to your majesty and the empire until death. After you pumped up everyone with your nonsense, painted a rosy picture for them, and fooled them into wanting to die for you. You called Liu Ruyue to the backyard alone, hoping to learn something through his power. Do you know the origins of the heavy troops guarding the Yang mansion? I know a thing or two. They are the Imperial Guards. The leader is Peng Bo, the commander of the Imperial Guards, an eighth-turn heavenly being, and one of the most trusted people of the old emperor. This person is cunning and good at flattery. He is soft to his superiors and arrogant to his subordinates. He has cultivated a magical power called Eye of Breaking the Void. Although Liu Ruyue didn't know why you asked, he still told you everything. This time we go to Yang's mansion, we cannot go openly because it will cause too much noise, so we can only go carefully. Otherwise, it will easily attract the attention of a certain old man. Originally, you were planning to sneak in directly by relying on the fact that you can't see me. You heard that the other party is an 8th-level celestial being, and has cultivated the magical power of Eyes of Breaking the Void. You frowned slightly, wondering if the red talent, you can't see me, can take effect. Your current situation is special. You only have 10 years left to live, so you cannot easily use the 9 steps to heaven. And having arranged such a heavy guard, it seems that the old emperor attaches great importance to Yang Hong. He even keeps a close eye on his previous residence. Is there any way to lure Pengbo away? I can ask Master to help. Good. Chapter 113. Forbidden Bloodline, a female assassin holding a blood knife. Then let's do it tonight. Seeing that Liu Ruyue agreed without hesitation, you suddenly felt relieved. Liu Ryue's mysterious master, the leader of the Misty Rain Sword Pavilion, is willing to take action personally, which means that the other party is ready to continue to increase his bets on you. You decide to start tonight to avoid any further complications. Grandson, Quote. Just call me Liu Gan. Seeing that Liu Ruyue still had something to say, you interrupted him and began to address him. Since you need help from someone, you naturally don't mind getting closer. Right now, Yanyu Sword Pavilion is still of great use to you. Okay, Liu Gan, regarding Su Mei whom you asked us to investigate before, our overseas forces have recently found out that she is still alive, and has become the cursed saint of a strange alien race. Her blood relative is suspected to be a forbidden existence. Liu Ruyue was stunned at first, and then revealed a shocking secret to you. Quote. What did you say? Your pupils shrank, obviously shocked. Besides Daxia, does Yanyu Jianzhe have information channels overseas? It seems you underestimated them. But this is not the most important thing. What is more important is that Su Mei has become the saint of curse, and her blood relative is a taboo-level weirdo. In this world, the strange alien race is as powerful as humans, or even more powerful. They are the biggest enemy of humans. The existence of the forbidden level corresponds to the 9th level of the human race, the true immortal on Earth. And Su Mei actually has a forbidden level, strange bloodline comparable to a real land immortal. Ward Hare. No wonder she disappeared mysteriously. It turned out that she was quietly taken away by someone sent by that forbidden existence. There is such an unexpected gain. Liu Gan's eyes moved, but he didn't expect that the blind girl had such a great origin. This is the destined heroine. Not long after the beginning, he was taken back by a forbidden relative to be recognized, and his status and position were immediately increased. For someone like him, it was a tragic start. Lao Deng is unreliable and has left a lot of trouble. Lao Deng is insidious and cunning, and doesn't seem like a good person. He wants to use him as a pawn every day and force him to rebel. There are few good people around. After knowing Su Mei's special identity, you felt both surprised and heavy in your heart. It was obvious that she was no longer the blind girl who was helpless and depended on you. Even my situation is much better than yours. It's true, fate is unpredictable. By the way, there is one more thing that you may not know. A month ago, when you were unconscious, King Chentai of Wu held a banquet in his mansion, but was suddenly stabbed by a young girl holding a bloody knife. Half of his hand was cut off and he was seriously injured. Several other young descendants were also killed. Liu Ruyue told another piece of news. King Wu Chentai was assassinated and his hands were chopped off. How many children were killed? Quote. He has finally come to this day. You raised your eyebrows, a little surprised, but didn't care. Given the way that idiot died, it's inevitable that he has enemies, so it's normal for him to be assassinated. But killing a prince so openly seems a bit too arrogant. Could it be that there is some deep hatred between the two parties? But at this moment, you found that Liu Ruyue's gaze towards you seemed a little strange. Quote. What's the matter? It is said that the blood knife in the hand of the young girl who assassinated you is exactly the same as your blood knife. Liu Ruyue said in a faint voice. There are rumors out there that it was your revenge, that you ordered the female assassin, and that you took over the hidden power left by the deposed Crown Prince Chen Zan. There are many question marks above your head. What's going on? Why did you order this? How come you didn't know? Why did you suddenly get blamed for no reason? You wanted to kill Chen Tai, but you didn't send any assassins, and you didn't kill, wait. Swish. You reacted suddenly, took out the soul-devouring demonic sword from your space ring and placed it in front of Liu Ruyue. Are you sure that the sword that the female assassin holds is exactly the same as mine? Yes. We have someone in Prince Wu's mansion. She saw with her own eyes the knife used by the female assassin. It is exactly the same as yours. Liu Ruyue nodded heavily. Boom. Another soul-devouring demon sword. Could it be Yi Chen? You got the soul-devouring demon sword from Yi Chen before. Now a new soul-devouring demon sword appears, and your first reaction is, Yi Chen. But the problem is, the genders don't match. Yi Chen is not a man, so how did he become a woman? And why did he become enemies with Chen Tai? Where did such a deep hatred come from? The last time the villain simulated, Chen Tai was killed. This time, he almost got killed again. You frowned slightly, feeling a little unsure whether the female assassin was Yi Chen or not. The gender didn't match. Could it be that Yi Chen has practiced some kind of magic skill? But your seemingly confused expression, in Liu Ruyue's view, is just a show. He secretly said in his heart, as expected of that person's bloodline, you are so ruthless. You almost killed your own uncle, and yet you pretend to be so innocent. You are so similar. Now, everyone in the imperial capital knows that the blood knife is your signature weapon. Now, a female assassin holding the blood knife almost killed Wuwang Chentai. Even a fool would know that this must be your work. Otherwise, why would Chentai be so honest during this period? It seems that the rumors outside are true. You have indeed obtained the hidden power of the deposed crown prince. Otherwise, you would not have been able to do such a thing. Looking at Liu Ruyue's confident look, you knew that the other party must have misunderstood, and you also understood why the Yanyu Sword Pavilion would change its attitude towards you so quickly. The relationship is a misunderstanding. He couldn't kill Lao Lao Deng, and then he sent someone to chop his uncle Chentai to pieces. He's still alive and kicking. It's impossible to say that there's nothing interesting about it. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. At this moment, in the eyes of countless people, you are like a stock that has been soaring all the way. It is worth adding to your position and getting rich returns. As for whether it will be possible to liquidate the position, limit down. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. In this case, you naturally cannot deny it. After all, you still have to give the leaks confidence. It seems that your intelligence is good. You smiled mysteriously, with a slightly playful tone, as if you admitted it. Quote, I hope you can give me a surprise tonight. I will definitely not let you down. Night falls, outside Yang's house. Chapter 114, Warning from the Heavenly Official. Is there someone in the secret realm? In the Great Xia Empire, Yang Hong is undoubtedly an extremely special existence. As a commoner, he made outstanding military achievements and rose to the top of the Great Xia Empire. He was even named a king of a different surname by the old emperor. During the peak period, the Yang mansion was always crowded with people, and countless people wanted to visit and build relationships. It's a pity that he has a lovesick sister and a brother-in-law who is a jerk to death. This great Xia god of war was badly cheated. The Yang mansion, which used to be full of people, has now become an empty ghost house. No one dares to approach it, and it is heavily guarded. During this period, there were people who wanted to sneak in and steal, but they were all caught and sentenced to death. At this moment, you have quietly arrived nearby, lurking in the shadows, observing the surroundings, waiting for the opportunity. We have been guarding here for decades, and we don't know what we are guarding. Who knows? His Majesty's power is unpredictable, and he must have a deep meaning. We just need to do our own thing. Have you heard? In a few days, it will be Your Majesty's birthday banquet. At that time, all countries will send envoys to celebrate your birthday and present gifts. It will be a grand banquet that will be visited by all nations. Ha ha ha, the feast we are waiting for has nothing to do with poor people like you and me. We should just guard this ghost house well. Inside the Imperial Guards guarding Yang Mansion, there are several figures complaining. Apparently they are quite dissatisfied with guarding this place for many years. Who would be willing to do such a hard job? Suddenly, a cold snort was heard, which immediately scared the few Imperial Guards who were talking about it. They looked up and were immediately frightened out of their wits. It turned out to be a general with a square face and a majestic look. It was Peng Bo, the commander of the Imperial Guards. You will go and get 50 military sticks in a moment. The commander of the Imperial Guards, Peng Bo, showed no mercy at all and spoke in an icy voice, which immediately frightened several Imperial Guards so much that their faces turned pale. Suddenly, he seemed to sense something, his eyes lit up and he looked in your direction. Quote, not good. Just as you guessed, Peng Bo, who has practiced the eye of breaking the void, seems to be able to see through the red talent of, you can't see me. Just when you are about to be exposed. Swish. But a masked swordsman in white clothes suddenly appeared from the space above Yang Mansion, revealing his figure, holding something in his hand, and ran towards the distance. Look at the appearance, it seems that he took something from Yang's house. How dare you? The commander of the Imperial Guards, Pang Bo, was immediately furious. Since being sent here by His Majesty, there had never been any mistake. If something went wrong, that would be disastrous. He immediately chased after him. Guard this place well, activate the formation, and don't let anyone get close. Before catching up, this 8th level celestial being did not forget to explain a few things. You hid in the dark, watching this scene, frowning slightly. The white-robed swordsman just now is the leader of the Misty Rain Sword Pavilion. His strength is indeed extraordinary. Why does he give me a familiar feeling? However, it seems that you don't have time to think too much at this moment. It's more important to do business first. You silently say, "You can't see me," and quickly approach Yang's house. Soon, before the formation covered them, they successfully entered Yang's residence. Tread. As soon as you enter, you feel an inexplicable chill, but there should be no wind around. Liu Ruyue said that her master could only give me 1 stick of incense 15 minutes, but it was enough. With the tip from the big yellow dog, you know that the destination this time is next to a peach tree in the backyard of Yang's house, so move quickly all the way. During this period, you discovered that there were many spies in Yang's mansion, but these people could not see through, "You can't see me," and could not detect you. Soon, you came to the back hill and saw a lush peach tree and a cenotaph. There were a few large characters carved on the cenotaph, "Tomb of deposed Crown Prince Chenzan." According to the big yellow dog, your mother loved peach blossoms the most when she was alive, so Lao Dang planted this peach tree for her. However, for some reason, Yang Hong actually built a cenotaph under this peach tree. Is this the cenotaph of my dead father? You look at the cenotaph in front of you, and suddenly you feel sad, and your blood seems to be agitated. You also have mixed feelings towards an old man you have never met. Perhaps, this is some kind of kinship from deep in the blood. Lao Dang, your punches weren't strong enough, and you weren't ruthless enough, that's why you lost, and that's why you suffered so miserably, and implicated your entire family. But I won't. I will be stronger and more ruthless than you, and sooner or later I will send that old man to accompany you. After talking to yourself for a few sentences, you began to look around, trying to find the entrance to the secret realm, and find the dragon temple. Time passes quickly, but no matter how hard you look, there is no sign. Finally, you looked at the cenote in front of you, and suddenly had a very rebellious idea. Could it be that the secret realm is hidden inside? Should I dig it out? Etc. No, if it were really that simple, it would have been discovered long ago. Besides, Uncle Yang Hong isn't that stupid. There must be some kind of connection and logic. Since Yang Hong told me the address, he must have believed that there is something on me that can unlock the secret. And others cannot be opened. Supreme Emperor Bone. Your pupils shrank, and you suddenly reacted. You looked at the cenotaph in front of you, and directly activated the Supreme Emperor Bone. You exuded a domineering and supreme aura. Click, click. Under your gaze, the cenotaph in front of you suddenly began to tremble and move abnormally, with depressions appearing one after another, revealing a crack in space. Secret realm appeared. Finally found it. You couldn't help but clench your fists, feeling excited as you watched the secret realm in front of you begin to open up one by one. But at this moment, a golden light suddenly flashed across your body. A blessing heavenly official suddenly appeared in your mind, shook his head at you, and disappeared in a flash. Swish. A cold wind suddenly appeared, blowing your heart cold. Your pupils suddenly shrank, and you subconsciously stopped your movements. The secret crack that was about to open suddenly stopped. Is this the golden talent, heavenly official's blessing, warning you? Once the secret realm is opened, something bad will happen. Will you die? Could it be that there is someone in the secret realm? Chapter 115. Magical powers, ever-changing. ? You react instantly. Someone, or something, is hiding in the secret realm waiting for you. It's waiting for you to come in and kill you right away. Could it be that there is something wrong with the address given by Uncle Yang Hong? He wants to harm you. Impossible. If Yang Hong really wanted to harm me, why would he go to such great lengths? Moreover, he did so knowing that I could be reborn. So, The dragon temple in the secret realm must be hiding something, and it's meant for me. But the only explanation for the current situation is that besides me, there is someone else who knows Yang Hong's plan and my specific movements, and is hiding quietly in the secret realm, trying to trick me. The one who knows Yang Hong's methods and understands my situation and every move must be someone close to me or someone who is familiar with me. Could it be the old Lao Deng of the old emperor, or is it that Lao Deng is not dead at all and wants to take over my body? Your expression changes from gloomy to bright, and you instantly enter the supreme mode. Looking at the cenotaph in front of you, countless thoughts flash through your mind. It's so damn gloomy. If it weren't for the advance warning from the blessing heavenly official, you would have been killed. No wonder I felt something was wrong when I came in just now. Something was wrong. I felt a chill. In this case, the first person you should exclude is Wu Wang Chentai. You can be sure that he is not so sinister. Moreover, he does not know your strengths and weaknesses, so he dare not act rashly. In comparison, you are more suspicious of the old emperor and the dead abandoned crown prince Chen Zan. You now seriously doubt whether your old man is really dead. Uncle Yang Hong hid the secret realm under Lao Deng's tomb, and it can only be opened with the breath of the supreme emperor's bone. Question mark. Can you not doubt? Question mark. Quote. Withdraw. You cursed inwardly, began to retract the supreme emperor bone, directly closed the crack in the secret realm, and turned away without hesitation. Since you know there is a problem, you would have to be crazy to go in there stupidly. What if you get stabbed? Right now, your situation is special. Your uncle Yang Hong has not arrived yet, so you don't have many cards to play. The plan for the old emperor has not yet begun. There is no need to put yourself in danger. After weighing the pros and cons, you made the safe choice without hesitation. What is inside the secret realm? When I have the chance in the future, I can ask my uncle in person and I will know everything. If there really is something mysterious hidden inside, let my uncle Yang Hong take action. There is still time. Pengbo has not returned yet, so we cannot enter the secret realm. Let's check inside Yang's house to see if there is anything good. You muttered to yourself, and found that heaven official's blessing did not issue a warning, which made you feel relieved. This golden talent is a life-saving artifact. You approached the nearest courtyard without hesitation. That courtyard was so close to the peach tree, it should be the residence of your mother Yang Shou. Snap. You push open the door, and what comes into view is a thick layer of dust, which covers almost everything on the ground. You enter and start to explore, but you don't find anything good. At this moment, you enter a boudoir and suddenly see a scroll hanging on the wall. On the scroll is a portrait of a woman whose face is not stunning, but gives people an extremely gentle feeling. With just one glance, you recognize that it was the portrait of your mother Yang Shou. Question mark. Swish. At this moment, a golden light of blessing flashed before your eyes, and the woman in the portrait seemed to wink at you. Is this some kind of hint? Heavenly official's blessing actually has such an effect. You react and touch the portrait. The portrait seems illusory, and waves like water emerge. A piece of ghost stone was taken out from the portrait by you. Question mark. Boom. When you come into contact with this strange stone, you suddenly sense that the thousand shadows magic power in your body begins to become agitated. Question mark. Swish. Before you could react, the strange stone instantly melted into the skin of your palm and became one with you. The thousand shadows magic power in your body begins to operate autonomously, and changes occur. You have broken through the 6th level of thousand shadows magic art. Question mark. Question mark. You have broken through the 7th level of thousand shadows magic art. Question mark. Question mark. You have broken through the 8th level of thousand shadows magic art. Question mark. Question mark. You have gained a new talent and magical power, ever-changing. Ever-changing. You can transform into any existence you see and possess some of its characteristics and powers, making it difficult for others to see through your true self. Thousands of changes. Are you sure it's not a weakened version of the 72 changes? Liu Gan's pupils shrank as he stared at the changes in the villain simulator, and couldn't help but complain in his heart. It's fine that it can transform into the existence you see, but it can also possess some power characteristics. This seems to be a bit conceptual. It is somewhat similar to a certain monkey's signature skill. What on earth is that strange stone hidden in the portrait? It actually has such a magical effect. Not only does it directly max out the 1,000 Shadows magic skill, but it also condenses such a terrifying magical power. Moreover, why is that thing hidden in the portrait of my mother Shou? You are shocked by the function of the strange stone, but why is this thing hidden in the portrait in your mother's room? Who left it there? Before you can figure out the reason, you realize that the time is almost up. Although you still want to continue exploring, Pangbo, who has been led away, is about to return. You have to go first. Swish. At this moment, a cold wind suddenly appeared out of nowhere and blew on your body, making your hair stand on end. A golden light of blessing appears again, but it appears dimmer. Not good. The things hidden in the secret realm have come out. Golden light talisman. A dazzling golden light suddenly appears on your body surface, but the next moment, it shatters. Tear. The life substitution blood escape talisman was instantly shattered. A thick arm covered with black hair grabs you, and a threat of death appears instantly. What the hell is this? Emperor's bone. Open. You sensed the threat of death, your eyes narrowed, and you no longer had any scruples. You took the blood knife and wanted to risk your life. Quote. Wait. A strange voice suddenly appeared. Boom. At this moment, a terrifying sword light suddenly appeared and blocked the thick arm. The white-robed swordsman who led Pangbo away before and whose face could not be seen suddenly appeared and blocked your way. Swish. You were covered with a white gauze and escaped from Yang's house. Quote. Walk. Chapter 116. The Old Emperor's Birthday Banquet. When will Liu Gan die? What the hell is that? Liu Gan's brows were almost twisted into a knot. From the beginning to the end, the existence hiding in the secret realm did not reveal its true form. Only a hand appeared, as if hiding something. This means that the other party is definitely not a brainless monster, but a being with intelligence. Or in other words, people. He had only seen his uncle Yang Hong tear apart the life substitute blood escape talisman with his bare hands before. The strength of that ghost thing is definitely not weaker than the 8th level of heavenly man, and its physical strength is even more unknown. After being rescued again, you realize that this should be the golden talent, heavenly official's blessing, that has taken effect again, and at the critical moment, you can turn danger into safety. However, this golden talent also seems to have limitations. The power began to weaken, and the light began to dim. It seems that your successive death calamities are beyond the tolerance of this golden talent. You suspect that the ghost thing might be the headless corpse of the abandoned Crown Prince Chen Zan, but you immediately realize that something is wrong. Yang Hong told me the location of the secret realm, which means that he believed I could enter it and get something from the Dragon Temple. It seems that the ghost thing was not in the secret realm, but entered later. Moreover, since Yang Hong obtained Lao Deng's corpse with the Supreme Emperor bones, he couldn't just throw it away in the secret realm. If the old emperor knew, he would have slapped the other person to death long ago. Your thoughts are somewhat confused, as if you were stunned by this sudden scene. The waters of the imperial capital are too deep. You seem to be a little out of control now. If you had not confronted the old emperor head-on before, resulting in a short lifespan and a bad situation, you could have confronted that ghost thing and see its true face. Swish. The white-robed swordsman who is suspected to be the master of the Misty Rain Sword Pavilion suddenly stops, and you find yourself in the Liu family. Thank you very much for your help this time, Pavilion Master. You looked at the white-robed swordsman in front of you and thanked him solemnly. If the opponent hadn't made a move, you would have definitely started the 9 steps to heaven. It's unclear whether you can kill that ghost thing, but you're afraid that your lifespan will soon run out and you'll die directly. Then all subsequent plans against the old emperor will be in vain. Moreover, the opponent was able to block that ghost thing. His cultivation is at least the 8th level of the celestial being, and he is also a sword cultivator who specializes in killing, so he deserves your courtesy and respect. It's just that, for some reason, you always feel that the white-robed swordsman in front of you gives you a familiar feeling, and the way he looks at you is also a little strange. In 3 days, there will be a birthday banquet for that person. The top leaders of the entire Great Xia Empire will be invited to gather in the imperial capital. There will also be envoys from overseas countries. This will definitely be the most grand banquet in the past 100 years, the white-robed swordsman spoke in a cold voice, and looked at you with a hint of tenderness as he slowly spoke. You raised your eyebrows, wondering why the other party would mention this. Quote. You will also be invited when the time comes. Invite me. You narrowed your eyes, a little surprised. At present, you are only the second son of the Liu family, and you have not yet been given the title of the true grandson. It seems that you are not qualified to participate in such a feast. I heard that he seemed to be planning to enthrone you as the crown prince at the birthday banquet and restore your royal status. Boom. Hearing such great news, your first reaction is not surprise, but that something must be wrong. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Is Lao Lao Deng so kind? After that battle a month ago, you will never dare to underestimate this old BCH again. The other party must be planning something. Also, if you really become the crown prince, your uncles will never let you go. They will just roast you on the fire. At this moment, you have already felt the trend of the storm coming. Perhaps, the enthronement ceremony in 3 days will also be the date of your death, who knows? Okay, let's see who dies first. A cold light suddenly flashed in your eyes, and a bloodthirsty and crazy smile appeared on your face. Okay, it's the elder's birthday, and as a younger generation, I must give him a big gift when the time comes. The white-robed sword immortal looked at your expression and was slightly stunned, a little surprised. It seemed that you were quite confident. Also, your expression doesn't seem like one of filial piety. It seems that you have made up your mind. She looked at you deeply and said something meaningful. However, I hope you don't trust anyone easily. Sometimes, what you see may not be true. Swish. Before you can comprehend the meaning behind this, the white-robed swordsman in front of you turns into a sword light and disappears. Your expression slightly changes, as if the other party knows something and is reminding you of something. Is there any problem you haven't discovered? But now, the arrow is on the string and must be shot. All your attention is attracted by the human emperor's birthday banquet, 3 days later, and you don't have the energy to think too much. You look towards the south. Uncle, I hope you can arrive in 3 days, otherwise you will be collecting your nephew's body. You asked Liu Shou to gather all the people who had surrendered to you, and brainwashed them again to strengthen their loyalty, to ensure that they could be used at the critical moment. After arranging everything, you entered into seclusion and began to practice the last step of 9 steps to heaven. The difficulty of condensing the true immortal talisman in this last step is not small. I don't know how long it will take to condense it. Now I can only do my best and leave it to fate. During this period, Liu Shou came to the secret room to report that the Liu family ancestor had awakened and wanted to meet him, but you ignored him. Time flies, and 3 days are over quickly. The entire imperial capital, no, the entire Great Xia was in a state of excitement. The old emperor's birthday banquet has arrived. It seems that your death is approaching. Chapter 117, The Emperor's Birthday Banquet, All Nations Come to Pay Tribute. In the past 3 days, you seemed to be in a trance and fell into a certain state, and had a strange dream. In the dream, you are in the palace of Daxia, under the watchful eyes of the crowd, like a sacrifice, being grabbed by a big hand and eaten up. You can even clearly feel the severe pain of being bitten, as well as the weird laughter around you. At the end, a blessing golden light suddenly shines, dragging you out of the dream. However, the golden light of blessing is no longer as dazzling and gentle as before, but appears extremely dim, almost like a lamp that may go out at any time. Is that really a dream? You look at your intact flesh and skin, and the scene of you being served on the table and being shared before comes to mind, and your heart seems to be filled with turmoil. Maybe this is what will happen to you next, but it may not be the case. Heavenly official's blessing seems to be reminding you that you should escape at all costs, otherwise, death will greet you. But right now, you have no intention of running away. Closing square bracket. The situation has been decided. How long can we survive by running away? In this case, we might as well give it a try and see whether the Great Xia Emperor is a human or a ghost. I escaped in the first 5 simulations. This time, I won't escape. You strengthen your faith and find that your soul begins to transform. The threshold to entering the holy realm seems to begin to loosen for you. It's a pity that the aftereffects of the last 9 steps to heaven are still there. Closing square bracket. You checked your body and found that in the past 3 days of practice, your progress towards the 9th step of the 9 steps to heaven was not even 1,000th. According to your calculations, if you want to complete the 9th step of cultivation and condense the true immortal talisman, you will need at least 10 years of hard work. As for the lifespan required to take this step, it will probably be an astronomical figure that is difficult to imagine. Obviously, this is no longer something you can consider now. Question mark. Swish. You used the talisman to condense a water mirror and saw your pale face. The hair on your temples was also a little white. The backlash of the battle a month ago seemed to still be affecting you. You are staring at me intently. His eyes are bloodshot, and he mutters to himself. Am I sick? Why can't I remember? 2-LL2. Question mark. Swish. The gray hair on your temples seems to be fading, and your pale face seems to be slowly gaining some color. Bang. After an unknown amount of time, you pushed open the door of the secret room, walked out with a smile on your face, and a group of figures had already gathered outside, waiting for you. Liu Ruyue, Bai Long, Tong Qing, the ancestor of the Shou family, the ancestor of the Liu family, the ancestor of the Wu family, the ancestor of the Shang family, the ancestor of the Zhao family, Taoist Bao Kun. At this moment, among the 24 dukes, almost 5 of the heavenly family have chosen to stand on your side, plus an extremely mysterious, Yunyu sword pavilion, and many heavenly realm powerhouses. Now you are no longer as helpless as in the magic city, your wings are growing stronger. Your Highness. Quote. Set off. The Human Emperor's Birthday Banquet is not only a grand banquet for the entire Great Xia Empire, but also has a significant impact on all the human race countries. Closing square bracket. In this world, within the human race, the Great Xia Empire is the #1 existence and the backbone of the human race. Closing square bracket. The title of Great Xia Human Emperor is not given for nothing, but earned through hard work and recognized by everyone. In addition to dealing with strange alien races, the emperors of Daxia in all dynasties also had to deal with some guys within the human race. After the old man succeeded to the throne, he personally took action and forcefully dealt with a number of overseas countries, making them wary and afraid to have any ideas. However, due to the war that year, the internal strength of the Great Xia Empire was turbulent. Closing square bracket. But the existence of the old emperor is a silent deterrent to all the human races overseas. Closing square bracket. For this human emperor's birthday banquet, the White Eagle Federation Empire, the Sunland Empire, the Crescent Kingdom, the Golden Sands Kingdom, the Snow Maple Kingdom, and other overseas countries all sent envoys to bring gifts. This scene is like a gathering of all nations. Closing square bracket. Your Highness, please. A eunuch led the way in front of you, his tone full of respect and flattery, and he obviously knew that you would soon be named grandson. In other words, this matter has spread throughout Daxia in the past 3 days. You followed the other person alone, walking in the Great Xia Palace, heading towards the main hall. As for the others, they had already followed etiquette and could not walk with you. This is your first time entering the Great Xia Palace. For some reason, you have been feeling inexplicably depressed since you entered. Even the Supreme Emperor bone on your back has begun to feel a slight tingling pain. Your Highness, please come in. The main hall is in front of you. However, since His Majesty has not officially conferred the title on you, you can only be ranked among the kings. Inside the hall, the positions are clearly defined. The Great Xia Emperor is at the top, the kings are on the left, the envoys of various countries are on the right, and the 24 dukes are next. Their status and position are strictly guarded. Under normal circumstances, you have not been conferred a title yet, and it is possible that you are in the most remote corner, but you have become one of the kings, which can almost be said to be a great treatment. You are in the third seat among all the kings. Next to you is your uncle Chen Ang, who smiles at you. Not far away, Chen Tai is staring at you with a fierce look on his face, gnashing his teeth, as if he wants to kill you. At this moment, you are undoubtedly an outlier among outliers. As soon as you appeared, you attracted everyone's attention. Closing square bracket. The princes and princesses around you have different attitudes towards you, the son of the deposed crown prince, who suddenly appeared, your nephew. Some are friendly, some are jealous, some are disgusted, and some have murderous intentions. There are 24 people who hold the title of Duke of the Empire below. No, the GU family has been exterminated by you. There should be only 23 people left. The old celestial ancestors looked at you strangely, but did not show too much emotion. Messengers from various countries are extremely curious about you, wondering if they can gain benefits from you. Tread. You, the center of attention, ignore the gazes of the people around you, carry the bloody knife in your hand, and walk in with big strides. Closing square bracket. Sir, you are not allowed to bring weapons into the palace without the permission of the emperor. A deputy commander of the Imperial Guards, a powerful celestial being, is now blocking your way, wanting you to hand over the soul-devouring demonic sword and the storage ring. Roll. You roared domineeringly, kicked the opponent over in front of everyone, and strode in. Closing square bracket. Some people around wanted to stop me, but under your gaze, they could only retreat. Bang. Ignoring the strange looks around you, you carried the bloody knife and sat down at your seat. Suddenly, the blade pointed at Chen Tai, who was staring at you. You damn fog, if you keep looking at me, I'll dig out your eyeballs and stomp on them. You. Chen Tai was shocked and angry, and the kings around him were also a little frightened by your murderous nephew. No one expected that after being suppressed by the old man emperor for a month, you are still so unruly. Tread. Just when the scene was in a state of strangeness, suddenly footsteps were heard. The emperor has arrived. Chapter 118. Chen Tai. I suggest sending Liu Qian to marry, to measure the greatness of Daxia and win the favor of all nations. The sudden appearance of the old man interrupted the conflict between you and Chen Tai, and also attracted the attention of everyone present. Boom. A pressure like that of a true immortal from the land suddenly descended, instantly causing the entire hall to tremble. Countless people could not stop trembling and knelt on the ground. A golden screen suddenly appeared at the top of the hall, with jade beads hanging from it, and a tall and majestic figure descended without anyone noticing. Greetings, Your Majesty. In the face of such a terrifying power of heaven and earth, even the gods are like ants, without the slightest power to resist. However, among the many kneeling figures, there was a figure that was out of place, still sitting there, motionless. At this moment, you also sensed a terrifying pressure from your bloodline, which made you want to surrender, but the Supreme Emperor bone in your body exuded a sense of supreme dominance and withstood the pressure. This is your first time facing the old man emperor up close. You ignore your surroundings and look up, wanting to see the true appearance of the Lord of Daxia, who has been extremely mysterious from beginning to end. It's a pity that the golden screen blocked your view. The surrounding space was shaking, and you could only vaguely see a tall and majestic figure, but it was difficult to see its true appearance. Finally he showed up, but why did he hide his true appearance behind a golden screen? Could it be that the rumors are true? This old emperor was really badly injured and has a short lifespan, or has health problems. Liu Qian's pupils trembled, and he became extremely serious, staring at the villain simulator intently, wishing he could see its true appearance. He was also very curious about the Lord of Daxia. He always felt that the other party was not as simple as he imagined. Next, we will go to the imperial capital, and naturally we will have to deal with this legendary big boss. Hopefully this simulation will give him more information about the old emperor. How dare you, Liu Qian, look directly at the emperor of man. You are so arrogant. Seeing you ignoring the rules, Chen Tai suddenly attacked you and wanted to put a big hat on you. Closing square bracket. Since he knew that you would be named crown grandson today, he has been unable to eat for the past 3 days and he wanted to kill you. You and he have already formed a big grudge. If you do it, he will die. Besides, he also needs that position. Seeing Chen Tai come forward, the kings finally had different expressions. Most of them were secretly delighted, while the others remained silent. Dead Lung Mist, what are you barking about? In response to Chen Tai's roar, you remained calm, looking upwards calmly, thinking it was just the barking of a vicious dog, and said in a calm tone. You. Chen Tai's face changed drastically. As a prince, a noble, he was repeatedly called a long fog by you. Where would he put his face? Who would dare to talk to him in the future? After you bullied him a few times, rumors started to spread that he didn't have the qualities to be a human emperor. Please, father, I want to challenge him in a duel. Chen Tai suddenly shouted, shocking the whole audience. He has received news recently that you were severely injured a month ago and it is difficult for you to open the emperor bone. Your true strength is only extraordinary. You can enter the saint realm by fighting against the sky alone. He is fighting you with his cultivation at the peak of sainthood. He has the advantage. It's a good opportunity to give your unfilial nephew a good beating. Puff. I don't know who it was, but when he heard that Chen Tai wanted to challenge you, he couldn't help but burst out laughing, which was extremely harsh. Chen Tai's face turned cold, he glanced down and remembered a certain young palace maid who was not very smart. That's enough. Stop messing around. Behind the golden screen, the old emperor spoke, overwhelming the whole audience, suppressing the conflict between the two of you, and the birthday banquet continued. The envoys from various countries presented gifts. The White Eagle Alliance Empire presents a pair of 8th Order strange alien, ancient dragon eagles, to celebrate the birthday of the Great Xia Emperor. The Rilin Empire presents 100 pieces of sunlight essence, and 10 feet blood sun pearls, to celebrate the birthday of the Great Xia Emperor. The Kingdom of Golden Gauze presents 100 beauties. Each of the overseas envoys presented extremely precious birthday gifts, including many rare materials and treasures, the most precious of which was the pair of ancient dragon eagles, with combat power comparable to that of the heavenly realm. However, the powerful creatures that claimed to be able to fight against dragons, at this moment in the hall, faced with the aura of the old emperor, were like quails, lowering their proud heads. At this moment, you clearly saw how terrifying the real national strength of the Great Xia Empire was. At the same time, the power of the old man emperor, the lord of Great Xia. Good. Behind the golden screen, the laughter of the Great Xia Emperor was suddenly heard, and he was obviously extremely happy. Father, I have something to say. However, at this moment, a certain long mist is about to make trouble again. Chen Tai stood up again, and after getting his approval, he suddenly looked at you. Father, the overseas countries are so concerned about our Great Xia, why not take this opportunity to strengthen the relationship between the countries? Seeing Chen Tai talking eloquently, the old man seemed to be interested as well. Continue. I think the best way to strengthen relations between countries is through marriage. Chen Tai seemed to be more energetic and continued to speak, his eyes suddenly looking at you. I see that Liu Qian has royal blood, but has not yet officially acknowledged his ancestry. It is a good opportunity for him to make peace with other countries, to build a great country, and win the hearts of all nations. The hall instantly fell into silence. Many people were stunned by Chen Tai's shocking remarks. Let a grandson of the emperor with pure blood go to marry. There is no such record or practice in any history books. Daxia's orthodoxy is overseas, right? In contrast, the eyes of the other overseas envoys lit up, sensing the huge benefits contained therein, and they looked at you with fiery eyes. Puff. You were also a little stunned, and were amused by Chen Tai's actions. It was obvious that your sixth uncle was doing his best to prevent you from taking the position. You were cornered by this kind of people before, but it's really funny. Of course, Liu Qian is carrying the Supreme Emperor Bone, which is a treasure of our Great Xia and cannot be easily passed on to others. I suggest digging out the Supreme Emperor Bone. Chen Tai became more and more excited as he spoke. Question mark quote. Shut up. In the main hall, behind the golden screen, the slightly angry voice of the old emperor suddenly came out. Chapter 119. Old Man Emperor, I am old. Liu Qian, I think you want to die. Brainless idiot. Perhaps it was because of the bottom line of fratricide involving relatives, or perhaps it was because of other reasons. The old emperor was undoubtedly irritated by a certain idiot and shouted harshly. Closing square bracket. In front of the public, in front of all the foreign countries, they discussed marrying a crown prince, and even deposed him. This was simply a joke to the reputation of the entire Great Xia Empire. Can you say something like this in public? Closing square bracket. This alone is enough to end Chen Tai's chances of ascending to power in the future. A person who dares to kill even his own nephew will probably not let his own brothers go in the future. If this kind of person gets promoted, the rest of the people will be in trouble. Bang! Chen Tai, who was originally full of pride and complacency, suddenly realized what was happening, as if a cold water was poured over his head. His face changed drastically, and he cursed inwardly and felt dizzy. He quickly knelt down and begged for mercy. Father, please spare my life. Father, please spare my life. I was just confused for a moment. I still love my nephew, but... Chen Tai tried desperately to explain, but he was hesitant and didn't know how to argue. Drag him out, and give him 50 strokes of the cane. Take away his princely title. After the birthday banquet, confine him to the mansion for 10 years and do not allow him to enter the palace. The old emperor said in a cold voice, and it was obvious that he was really angry. He didn't even give his most beloved son any face. Question mark. Swish. Chen Tai's face changed drastically. He could endure the beatings in court, but the punishment of having his prince position taken away and being imprisoned for 10 years almost cut off his possibility of becoming the Emperor of Man. 10 years is enough time for other brothers to take his place. Bang! Chen Tai instantly collapsed to the ground, as if he had lost his soul. Question mark. Trample. Trample. 2 golden armored guards came to Chen Tai, grabbed him, and dragged him outside, preparing to start the court battle. The rest of the princes and princesses all looked at this scene indifferently. No one pleaded for mercy. Instead, they sneered in their hearts, celebrating the fact that they had one less competitor. The dukes of the empire, led by the Chu family patriarch who supported Chen Tai, wanted to plead for mercy, but they were frightened by the words of the old emperor. Those who plead for mercy will be punished with the same crime, stripped of their titles and imprisoned, so they could only bow their heads. Even the envoys from various countries were shocked by this scene. They immediately gave up certain ideas and did not dare to mention them easily. You've mastered the art of killing a chicken to frighten the monkeys. You watched this scene calmly, sneering in your heart. You don't think that the old emperor is venting his anger on you. I'm afraid that Chen Tai just happened to say what he was thinking, and he was angry out of shame. Closing square bracket. Given everything that happened before, you don't think the old man in front of you is a good person. Question mark. This old man is really cruel. Suddenly, you seem to notice that Uncle Chen Ang beside you seemed to have a flash of disdain on his face. Question mark quote. Liu Qian, what do you think of my punishment? The old man's sudden question interrupted your train of thought and also focused everyone's attention on you, the victim. Even the 2 golden armored guards who were dragging Chen Tai stopped. This punishment is really too severe. You frowned in your heart, not knowing what Lao Dang was trying to do, but your face did not change at all, and you said in a shocking tone. Question mark. When these words were spoken, the whole audience was shocked. Subscribe to Chinese Novel Audio Wave. Even Chen Tai couldn't help but widen his eyes. Are you planning to plead for him? Closing square bracket. Could it be that he is planning to play the uncle-nephew drama? Closing square bracket. But what you said next made Chen Tai's surprised expression turn into a look of anger in an instant. Being locked up for 10 years is also torture for this Lung Fog. It's worse than death. Just kill him directly. Question mark question mark question mark question mark question mark. Question mark. What kind of words are these? Inside the hall, many people's mouths twitched. Question mark. Puff. Question mark. Some people couldn't help laughing. Even the old emperor seemed to be silenced by your answer. Closing square bracket. Liu. Shit. Chen Tai screamed heartbreakingly, wishing he could break free from the golden armored guards and come over to beat you. Drag him out, fight him 100 times. The old emperor spoke calmly. Chen Tai was dragged out, followed by a series of fights, and soon, he was dragged back in with his bloody buttocks and put back in his original position. A pair of resentful eyes stare at you intently, almost ready to tear you into pieces. The court sticks of the Daxia Palace are made of special sticks. With one blow, the body training monks will have their skin torn apart. Because of your few words, he received 50 more blows and became incontinent. However, you ignored the gaze of a loser. Instead, you were somewhat interested in your uncle Chen Ang beside you. You always feel that the other person is unfathomable, hard to see through, and inexplicably familiar. Faced with your intense gaze, this extremely mysterious prince also showed a hint of unnaturalness on his face. Nephew, what's wrong? Uncle, my father mentioned before he passed away that he had the deepest feelings for you back then, and you helped him a lot. You deliberately wanted to test the other party, so you dug a trap and dragged him into the matter of Lao Deng. My nephew is joking. After these words were spoken, Chen Ang's face froze, and the smile on his face was no longer there. The look he gave you also had a hint of coldness. Many people who were paying attention to this side also changed their expressions slightly after hearing what you said. Even the old emperor, behind the golden screen, seemed to glance over here. Good boy, you also had a hand in the Xuanwu Gate sniper confrontation, back then, right? The old eunuch who was close to the old emperor clapped his hands, and immediately young palace maids came with fine wine and delicious food to ease the atmosphere. However, when it was placed in front of you, you keenly noticed that there seemed to be a yellow dog hair on the edge of the plate. Your pupils trembled, and the hanging heart in your heart suddenly fell, and the smile on your face became more intense. Chen Ang, who had been paying attention to you, was the first to notice that something was wrong with you, and immediately had a bad feeling. The birthday banquet continues, and the princes and princesses begin to present gifts, the old eunuch beside the old emperor said loudly. Instantly, a group of royal princesses began to offer generous gifts. Father, I have a 1,000-year-old spiritual pearl to give you. Father, I have traveled overseas and found a mysterious treasure. Father, I accidentally got a picture of a beautiful landscape. I wish you good fortune and a long life. Suddenly, the splendid picture of mountains and rivers, said by a prince, seemed to arouse some emotions of the old emperor. But, behind the golden screen, the old emperor slowly opened the splendid picture of mountains and rivers, and looked at the splendid mountains and rivers of Daxia. He couldn't help but sighed and said with emotion, I am old. Swish. No one dared to respond after hearing this. Who doesn't know that the old emperor may not live long? In this situation, who dares to offend? But at this moment, a faint voice suddenly appeared from below. I think you want to die. Chapter 120. Lu Qian, old bidden, I invited a land immortal to fight you. Clang. Someone's hand trembled, and the chopsticks fell to the ground, which was extremely jarring in the silent hall. Instantly, everyone's eyes were focused on you, who was standing next to the eldest Prince Chen Ang. The faint voice just now was actually made by you. At this moment, you have once again become the focus of everyone. What you just said was like a nuclear bomb dropping on everyone's brain, and many people were stunned. What you just said, are you cursing the old emperor to death? You are going to die. Chen Ang's face was stiff, and he leaned to the side, wanting to stay away from you, fearing that he would be splashed with blood next. Dangerous. I knew there was something wrong with my ominous premonition just now. I didn't expect you to come up with something big all of a sudden. The last person who dared to speak to the old emperor like this was called Chen Zan, and he is no longer alive. Maybe, you are the next one. Bang. Lu. Shit. You are simply lawless and treasonous. You attempted to curse the Great Xia Emperor. Heaven cannot tolerate this. Where are the guards? Capture him for me. Chen Tai's face was distorted, mixed with uncontrollable excitement. He slammed the table and stood up, his eyes bloodshot, looking at Yu, shouting hoarsely. Originally he was very desperate and thought he had no chance, but your sudden suicide undoubtedly gave him a chance. Father. I am the most loyal son. Closing square bracket. Ha ha ha, you little b******************, d, wait for death. Uncle Six will thank you for your sacrifice. Closing square bracket. However, he soon discovered that he was like a clown, and the guards who were responsible for protecting him ignored him and did not move. Before the old emperor speaks up, who dares to move? Who dares to act on their own? Closing square bracket. As for the rest of the people, they also treated him as heir, and all looked at the old emperor and you. Next, you two are the absolute protagonists. At this moment, many people realized that you dare to be so arrogant, you must have some kind of support. Behind the golden screen, the old emperor's eyes seemed to have been focused on you. His voice is not angry, but extremely calm. Chen Gan, you dare to be so presumptuous. I think you are just like that rebellious son back then. You are ready. Why don't you tell me and let me hear it? You stared straight ahead, not backing down, with a calm expression, and said faintly, Old Biden, I have invited a true immortal from the land to fight you. A true immortal on earth. Closing square bracket. Question mark. Tread, tread, tread. A heavy sound of footsteps suddenly came from outside the palace, as if it contained some terrifying truth of heaven and earth. In an instant, everyone's eyes turned to look outside. But then, a tall figure wearing silver armor and with a heroic face, followed closely by a big yellow dog, appeared silently and walked towards the hall step by step. A powerful force seems to be gathering around him. Closing square bracket. Question mark. Boom. A pressure from a true land immortal suddenly erupted from him. Closing square bracket. It's Yang Hong. He has become a true immortal on earth. Question mark. Hiss. Everyone present had a sudden change of expression, took a deep breath, and some even screamed. A certain Clown King quickly sat down, bowing his head like a quail. Closing square bracket. I underestimated you. Behind the golden screen, the old emperor's voice fluctuated, as if he was a little surprised. It's just that I don't know whether it's talking about you or Yang Hong. Since those days, I have endured for decades. Today, I can't endure it anymore. Let's fight. Question mark. Boom. Accompanied by Yang Hong's roar, a white blade light suddenly attacked the old emperor in the hall. Closing square bracket. Perhaps I shouldn't have spared your life back then. The old man whispered faintly. Boom. A terrifying loud noise suddenly appeared in everyone's ears, almost making people lose all their senses. At this moment, you seem to have sensed the taste of death. At this level of power that involves the true immortals on land, even if you open the Emperor Bone and reach the 9th level of heavenly being, it is useless. Boom. The entire hall was torn in half out of thin air, and many people died tragically on the spot. When you regain your 5 senses and react, you find that you are not dead. It seems that the two land immortals are hesitant about something and subconsciously avoid you in the confrontation. By the time everyone reacted, the two true immortals on land, Lao Renhuang and Yang Hong, had already gone up to heaven to fight, causing the sky to collapse and the earth to crack. 2. Dharma images, that could reach the sky and the earth could be vaguely seen fighting in the sky. The war has begun. Closing square bracket. Question mark. Old Man Emperor vs Yang Hong. Is this the Dharmakaya of the true immortal on earth? You looked up and saw 2 vaguely visible Dharma statues colliding in the sky, tearing the sky apart easily and causing strange phenomena. You couldn't help but swallow your saliva. That level of combat pressure, even a little bit is enough to kill you. Question mark. Boom. The earth suddenly shook, and a huge dragon head emitting black energy suddenly rushed out from under the palace, opening its bloody mouth wide and biting towards you, trying to swallow you. Don't hurt the young master. A vast yellow sandstorm suddenly appears, revealing a huge dog head, blocking you and heading towards the evil dragon head. At this moment, the two terrifying beasts fought each other, and the fight was indistinguishable. Yellow Wind Great Sage vs Evil Dragon. At the same time, the warriors in the hidden dragon land were like shadows, with illusory bodies, like heroic spirits. They appeared in the Great Xia Palace at some point and fought with the Imperial Guards. Obviously, all the cards Yang Hong has accumulated over the years have been revealed for you at this moment. Instantly, the entire Daxia Palace was in chaos. Lu Qian, how dare you rebel? Kill him. Question mark. Suddenly, someone reacted and shouted. A pair of eyes instantly turned to you. At this moment, as the instigator, you have instantly become the target of public criticism. Among them, your uncles undoubtedly had the biggest reaction. Perhaps they dare not participate in the fight between the true immortals on Earth, but they are more than enough to deal with you. The team formation has also begun. UB**************, you dare to rebel. The Clown King Chen Tai, who had just sat down obediently, stood up again with an excited look on his face. Rebellion. My father is the crown prince, my grandfather is the emperor, who am I rebelling against? I'm just here to take back what belongs to me. You snorted coldly, unafraid. Kill him. Protect His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. Thank you for watching. Continue exploring the fascinating world of Chinese novels with us. Hit that subscribe button on Chinese Novel Audio Wave to stay updated with our latest stories. And never miss out on a great listen.